If you've turned away from reading romance novels because too often you've been unpleasantly surprised by what's between the pages or what's not between the pages, then this video is for you. There is a wide spectrum of romance, and this video will help you find the stories that fit exactly what you are looking for. I don't want you to throw away the whole genre of fiction just because you've been burned a few times. Romance stories are too important for that. Yes, they're about two people who find each other and fall in love, but I think there's even something deeper that is why we connect to them. Romance stories are about being truly seen for yourself and being loved for who you are, and I think that's what we all want, isn't it? So let's dive right in. Romance novels are divided into different heat or spice levels, and that is determined by how much intimacy is depicted on the page. They range from low or no spice to very spicy. And sometimes you'll hear people refer to chilies, like chili, spicy, and that's just like there's a range of maybe 1 to 5 chilies. So it'll be like, how many chilies is that book? Is that a 1 chili book or is that a 5 chili book? 5 chili book is going to be much spicier than a 1 chili book. Now, it's important to know there is no set definition or industry standard as far as the terms we're going to talk about today, which is exactly why it can be so challenging to find a story you're comfortable with if you've chosen, say, guardrails to determine what stories you want. But we're going to break it down a little bit and try and see if we can at least get you familiar with the terms so you know what to look for. Now, this video is not all about making a judgment call about what kind of spice level you like in your books. Some people just prefer one over the other, or some people will read anything, but sometimes you're more in the mood for one than the other. So the terms we're going to talk about will help you find exactly the spice level you want or don't want in your book. So first off, we have low spice or no spice books. And the term you might hear most likely for that is clean or wholesome, sometimes together, clean and wholesome. Now, these books focus more on the emotional connection between the main characters and really don't get a lot into the physicality. I mean, don't get me wrong, these characters can be attracted to one another, notice things about each other, but the physical draw between the two and the expression of that attraction is going to be limited to lingering glances, hand holding, kisses, but even the kisses are not going to necessarily be like hot and heavy. Certainly not a lot of description, not a lot of hands roaming. Think of K-dramas. I love a good K-drama. So think of those. I'm not saying K-dramas are always clean and wholesome. This is not talking about the content of like if there's violence or subject matter. I'm simply talking about the romance between the main characters. Most of them are not all hot and heavy. It's this slow burn attraction and romance that develops over the course of the story as their relationship grows, and you'll get these long glances or the tiniest little touch, a kiss, but if they kiss, you know, it's usually towards the end and it just means everything. They're so swoon-worthy. So just because something falls under the clean and wholesome umbrella does not mean you're not going to swoon. I want to talk about the word clean. Some people take issue with it because they think that that implies that then if there's sex portrayed, then that is dirty. That is not the intent. It's just the term that there is right now, and until there's something better, that term is used. If you like this type of romance and you would like a free short story written by me, by the way, my name is Jill Urbach. I'm an author of Sweet and Clean Romance set in the Pacific Northwest. I've written a short story called Her Own Mr. Darcy that was actually inspired by the re-release of the 2005 version of Pride and Prejudice, and you can get that story free by signing up for my author newsletter. I'll put the link in the description below. Now, the next level of spice, so what we just talked about would be like 1 chili if you were doing the chili method. The next level would be closed door or fade to black romances. So any intimacy that happens in that is implied, and it's certainly off the page. So think of like a PG movie or the rom-coms of the 90s, where if things start to go beyond kissing, the camera like pans away and maybe over to the candle, you know, or that's kind of soap opera, isn't it? Or maybe it just fades to black, but that's what it's referring to if it's a closed door romance or a fade to black romance. You're not going to get that intimacy on the page, but it could be implied that it's actually happening. But all the details are left to your imagination. Sweet is another term that's used to describe romances with no on-page intimacy. That term is starting to morph a little bit. It used to be synonymous with clean and wholesome, but lately sometimes you'll see authors refer to like sweet with heat, which of course confuses things a little bit. And in that case, I think the author is maybe referring, the sweet has to do with the type of relationship between the hero and heroine and the way that romance unfolds. It's going to be a sweeter story. Maybe it's a friends to lovers or something like that, like a gentler kind of romance, and also could refer to sort of the setting, the overall vibes of the story, but they've included the word heat because there will be some intimacy. And the level of that intimacy is subjective. It could be a little, it could be a lot. It's not going to be a ton, and it's certainly not going to be graphic, but it's going to be, if they say sweet with heat, there's going to be something. If I had to think of a book that fell under what I would call sweet with heat, I'd say Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. If you read that, I'd be curious, do you agree with that would fall under sweet with heat? Let me know in the comments. Now, another term that has started to be used is cozy. And if you say like cozy mystery, we right away get a feel for like, this is the kind of mystery that isn't going to have a lot of graphic violence. Like, they won't show the murder, we'll just find the dead body. And then it probably takes place in a small little town, maybe in England, Murder, She Wrote, right? That's a cozy mystery. So think cozy romance. Well, I thought that cozy romance kind of had those same vibes. So, funny story, my husband and I were in Las Vegas for a writers' conference, and I was trying to find the word that would really fit with what I write. Because I write small town, I'm saying sweet, even though I know that that's in morph. But I was like, is it sweet? Is it clean? Wholesome? Do I have to say all of them? Which of course you don't want to do. And I had thought, what about cozy romance? That fits. And then we were at the Las Vegas airport, and there was this whole display at one of I don't think it was a full bookstore, but at one of the stores there that was cozy romance. And my husband was like, look, these are your people. This looks like just like what you've written, because all the pictures, all the book covers were like small town, cute, the store window or the cup of coffee or whatever. So we picked one up and he just opened it to the middle, and his eyes got really wide and his face went red. And he was like, nope, that's not you. so then of course I took it and had to read it, and I was like, no, okay. Cozy romance does not necessarily mean clean and wholesome or even sweet. So just fair warning. It's a new term that you'll see, but that one refers, and I'm only mentioning it because I think it's a little misleading. It refers to the overall vibes of the book, specifically the setting. It's going to be small town, somewhere in the country, a winter cabin. It has nothing to do with the intimacy level. That could go either way. Steamy or spicy romance is what you'd expect from the name. That's pretty obvious. So those kind of stories are going to have lots of intimate scenes depicted on the page. There will be a variety of them, and like if you took those out, the book would be significantly shorter. So that's what you're getting when you pick up a steamy or spicy romance. That could be anywhere from 3, 4. I think if you get into 5 chilies, then you've moved on to, the only thing left really is erotica. More and more authors and publishers are really trying to be as upfront as possible as to what is depicted on the page, just because they know that readers want to know. Do you want a kisses only book, or do you want a book that's got a lot of heat and spice? The terms aren't perfect. They're not absolute, but they are what they are, and they do help a little bit. And if it's really important to you to know exactly the level of spice that's in a book, then I really encourage you to do your homework, read the description, and really read the reviews, because the reviews will tell you a lot. You readers are smart, and when you give your opinion, it matters. And we authors, we love it when you write a review, even if it's a bad review. I mean, we don't love those, but we appreciate that you took the time to talk about the book, especially when you're giving information that's going to be helpful to future readers. So if you've ever written a review for a book, Thank you very much. I did create a romance reading journal for women who want to pay attention to the stories that they enjoy, and also helps them to sort of see patterns over time of the kind of stories and themes that they're drawn to. So it's called Reading with Intention, and you can pick it up on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description below. If you have found any of this helpful, I hope you will like the video and consider subscribing to my channel. Hopefully I've given you a little bit of clarity on all the different intimacy levels in romance books. Feel free to leave any questions you might have in the comments below, and thank you so much for joining me here today. I appreciate your time. I'll see you next time. Bye!